How to communicate to connect and understand her better, Old Stoic wisdom. Listen with your ears, but also with your heart, and maybe a little bit of your brain too. Epictetus, probably. Let's be honest, communication in a relationship is more than just swapping stories about your day. It's about truly connecting, like deep level, soul to soul kind of connecting. In romantic relationships, communication is the foundation that supports emotional closeness and understanding. If you're aiming to build something lasting with her, how you communicate will be the difference between truly getting her thoughts, feelings, and desires, or just guessing. A relationship won't survive on silence or small talk alone. It needs to be rooted in mutual understanding, trust, and love, with communication as the glue that holds it all together. But here's the secret: communication isn't just about what you say, it's about how well you listen, show affection, and pick up on those little things she doesn't even need to say aloud. In this piece, we'll dive into 10 fun and practical ways to improve your communication skills. These tips will help you connect with her more deeply, understand her better, and ultimately build a relationship that's both stronger and more meaningful. These lessons, rooted in ancient Stoic philosophy, will guide you to master the art of communication, not just through words, but through listening and respect. 1. Listen sincerely. To truly connect with her, you must learn the art of listening, not just hearing. Listening sincerely is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and when it comes to love, it's what makes her feel truly valued. It's not enough to simply nod your head and say, I understand. To make her feel heard, you need to tune into the subtle layers of her emotions that often lie beneath the surface of her words. She's not just sharing facts with you, she's opening up a part of her soul, showing vulnerability, and hoping you'll catch what she's really saying. This is where the iron mind of old Stoic wisdom comes in, teaching you the discipline to block out distractions, to stop thinking about your response, and to truly listen with intent. You must be present and acknowledge that every word, every pause, and every shift in tone carries meaning. Let's be real. When she says, work has been stressful lately, it's not just a statement, it's an invitation to understand her. It's a subtle cry for empathy, not a request for you to offer solutions right away. Instead of offering the quick fix advice of, I get it, just push through, try to embrace the Stoic principles of patience and emotional resilience. Respond with, I can understand how stressful that must be. Do you want to talk more about what's been weighing on you? By doing this, you're not only hearing the words, but also reflecting back her emotions, making her feel seen, heard, and cared for. This is the kind of listening that fosters emotional intimacy, and it's only achieved when you are attuned to her unspoken needs. You see, relationships aren't built on grand gestures or constant fix it moments. They're built on the small, everyday acts of attentiveness. It's in the quiet moments when you lean in, listen with your heart, and give her the space to express herself. The wisdom of the Stoics teaches us that emotional intelligence is a skill, something you can cultivate over time if you have the discipline and willingness to grow. The Stoic principles remind you that it's not always about controlling her emotions, but understanding and accepting them. Don't rush to judge or offer an opinion. Be the rock that she can lean on when the world gets heavy. She doesn't need another critic or problem solver. She needs a partner who listens, truly listens, to her inner world. By learning to listen sincerely, you are deepening the connection between you two, creating a bond that transcends surface level communication. This is not just a tip for better communication, it's a fundamental practice that, when embraced, transforms your relationship. So, do not fall into the trap of thinking that silence or words don't matter. The Stoics believed in mastering the mind, and in this case, mastering the art of listening with an iron mind. It's not just about hearing her words, it's about feeling her emotions and understanding her truth. You must take the time to listen, not only to what is said, but to what is unsaid. 2. Pay attention to body language. Body language is the unsung hero of communication, accounting for over 70% of what's truly being said. Sure, words matter, but the nonverbal cues are where the real action happens. Eye contact, gestures, posture, even the tiniest shift in her expression, these things speak volumes. And if you're smart, you'll listen. Why? Because these silent signals often reveal things her words might never express. She might say, "I'm fine," but her body might be telling a very different story. You must learn to read those stories. The Stoic rules of understanding others go beyond logic. They're about perception. The practical Stoicism of this moment is to connect deeply, not just with words, but with the essence of what's unsaid. Look beyond words. It's easy to get caught in a game of verbal sparring, to focus on what's being said, but that's only half the picture. Be aware that actions speak louder than words. Consider this. You ask her about her day, and she says everything is fine. But her posture is slumped, her eyes downcast, and her hands are tightly clasped in her lap. What's your next move? You could just nod and walk away, thinking nothing of it. But don't fall into that trap. A real connection comes when you see beyond the surface. The Stoic path of wisdom teaches you that understanding the world involves more than just what's immediately obvious. It requires looking deeper. The rules are simple. If she's tense, there's a reason. If she's withdrawn, there's something happening beneath the surface. Don't ignore the signals. You must respond to them. If she's tense, acknowledge it. I can tell you seem tense. Is something bothering you? You're not prying, you're simply being present. And that makes all the difference. She's saying more than she thinks. There's an old saying, the eyes are the window to the soul. While this is undeniably true, don't forget that the rest of her body is an equally open book. Her gestures, posture, the way she touches her hair, shifts her gaze, all of these things can reveal how she's really feeling. You have to pay attention. No, you don't need to be a mind reader, but you must observe with intention. This isn't about finding hidden meanings in every little movement. It's about picking up on clear signals that indicate something is wrong or that she needs comfort. For instance, if she seems quiet and withdrawn, yet her hands are clenched or her posture is rigid, the message is clear. Something is bothering her. At that moment, don't brush it off. Take the opportunity to be there for her. The path of wisdom you walk as a man is not to ignore, but to act with discernment. Be quick to respond with empathy, not judgment. A simple acknowledgement like, "You seem a little tense, want to talk about it?" can open the door to a deeper understanding. In this way, you show that you care, not just about what she says, but about what she doesn't say. Don't wait for words to tell you everything. There's a crucial point here. You have to be proactive in understanding her. If you wait for her to tell you exactly what's wrong, you might be waiting a long time. The Stoics didn't just teach us to be reactive. They taught us to be proactive, to take initiative, and to be aware of our surroundings. Practical Stoicism involves mastering the art of observation, and when it comes to relationships, observation is everything. Don't let the opportunity to connect slip by. Imagine this. She's been quiet for a while, and you can feel the tension between you growing, but she hasn't said anything. Don't sit back, waiting for her to finally spill the beans. Take action. You must step up and ask her about what's bothering her, even if she hasn't said a word. That is the wisdom of understanding. It's not about forcing her to talk. It's about making her feel safe enough to share when she's ready. When you show that you're tuned into her emotions, when you read the signs she's giving off, you create a space where real connection can happen. Incorporate Stoic wisdom in your relationship. The principles of Stoic wisdom aren't just for surviving tough times. They're also for understanding and building stronger connections in the peaceful moments. The paths of wisdom show you that the more you pay attention to these cues, the deeper your relationships can become. Practice these subtle observations, and you'll find yourself not only better understanding her, but also growing in the wisdom of how to navigate your interactions. Remember, The more attuned you are to the nonverbal aspects of communication, the closer you get to her heart. In the end, learning to read her body language isn't just about understanding her feelings in a given moment, it's about creating a long-lasting connection built on empathy. That's the foundation of any solid relationship. And the key to getting there? Paying attention, staying present, and responding with wisdom, just as the Stoics would have done. 3. Show your care through actions. To truly connect and understand her better, you must embody the Stoic principles that elevate your actions above mere words. Stoicism teaches us that our value is shown not by what we say, but by what we do. Epictetus, one of the most powerful voices in Stoic philosophy, reminds us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The same applies to how you communicate with her. In today's world, where words are often cheap and fleeting, your actions must be your voice. Let your actions speak louder than any declaration of love. This is the path to understanding her, the path to mastering relationships and truly connecting. Don't just tell her you care, show her. Stoicism teaches us that emotions are fleeting, but the impact of your thoughtful actions endures. Help her when she struggles. Offer a comforting touch when she needs it. Take the initiative to do something that makes her smile, and you will demonstrate more love than any spoken sentiment ever could. This is not about grand gestures, but the little things, the daily, consistent actions that show you are present, invested, and tuned into her needs. Take the example of preparing her favorite meal after a stressful day. Don't just send a simple, "Hope you have a good evening" text. Instead, be deliberate. Say, "I made your favorite dinner tonight. Hope you can make it home soon so we can enjoy it together." This goes beyond words. It's an embodiment of care. You are taking action to improve her day, to make her feel cherished and understood. As the Stoic Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In this context, the best way to connect with her is to be unlike the men who simply say they care. You must show it. Epictetus also taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This lesson holds true in relationships as well. To truly connect, you don't need to be extravagant. You need to be present, focused, and intentional with your actions. You must identify what she values, what will make her feel supported, and then act on it. The most profound gestures are often simple, but their power lies in the consistency and depth of thought behind them. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about doing things with the expectation of receiving something in return. No, this is about mastering your emotions and actions to show her the respect and care she deserves. When you lead with stoicism, you are not swayed by fleeting emotions or temporary desires. Instead, you take purposeful action. You win by doing the right thing, regardless of how it may be perceived at the moment. The true victory lies in mastery over yourself, in your ability to make her feel valued through every gesture, every touch, every word, and most importantly, every action. In today's world where superficial connections are abundant, the man who practices stoicism wins in his relationships. By showing care through meaningful actions, you make it clear that you are not just interested in her for the moment, but committed to building something enduring. That commitment speaks volumes, stronger than any fleeting words. Make it your mission to embody this, and you will not only understand her better, but build a relationship that stands the test of time. In summary, remember, actions over words. This is the essence of stoicism. This is how you win in life and love. Don't just say you care, show her through actions. Demonstrate your mastery over yourself and the relationship by consistently being present, thoughtful, and deliberate. Epictetus taught us that to conquer the external, we must first conquer ourselves. Conquer the way you show care, and watch your connection with her grow stronger and more profound with each passing day. 4. Encourage her to share. One of the most powerful ways to connect with her and truly understand what's going on inside her mind is by creating a space where she feels safe enough to open up. Too often, she may be carrying thoughts, worries, or emotions that she doesn't express right away, either because she's uncertain or doesn't feel it's the right time. Don't let silence stand between you. Be the one to foster a sense of comfort that encourages her to share. It's not about forcing her to talk. It's about showing her that you're present and genuinely interested in her inner world. The old Stoic wisdom tells us that we must master the art of listening with an iron mind, letting go of our impulses to fix or judge, simply listening with patience and empathy. This is essential when engaging with someone you care about. You must understand that her need to open up isn't always a call for advice, but a desire for connection. That is why you must learn to create an atmosphere of trust where she knows she won't be judged, pressured, or dismissed. So, if you notice that she's feeling stressed, don't just settle for the typical, "Are you okay?" You must ask the right kind of question, something that invites her to open up without making her feel cornered. Try saying, "I'm here to listen if you want to talk about anything on your mind." With this approach, you're not only offering her the space to speak freely, but you're also sending a clear message that you're available to hear what's going on inside her. It's not about trying to fix her feelings, but creating a trusting dynamic where her voice matters. This is a practice grounded in Stoic principles, acting with patience and intention without rushing to conclusions. Don't be afraid of the silence. Embrace it as part of the process. You must let her share in her own time. When she feels heard, you're not just connecting, you're laying the foundation for a deeper, more meaningful relationship. So be patient, be present, and be the kind of partner who fosters a safe space where she can truly be herself. If you found this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember. I create a space for open and honest connection. 5. Respect her emotions. Men, listen closely. Respecting her emotions isn't optional. It's vital. Every person has a unique emotional landscape, and as much as you might expect her to navigate the world with the same calm, logic, and control that you do, it just doesn't work like that. Women, like all of us, have emotions that run deep, and they're not always aligned with what you think or want. Emotions don't play by the rules of logic, and that's where the problem often begins. You must learn to respect her emotions. Don't belittle them. Don't dismiss them. Whether she's angry, sad, frustrated, or confused, your job is not to judge or correct her feelings, but to understand and validate them. This is where ancient wisdom, especially the Stoic rules, comes into play. A Stoic doesn't react hastily, but rather observes, reflects, and responds with understanding. You must also remember that emotions are not a threat. They're a reflection of her experience. You are not meant to be a shield that blocks her feelings, but a steady presence that helps her navigate them. By respecting her emotional state, you show that you honor her as a person. That is key to a relationship built on respect and trust. That is where practical Stoicism comes in. Stoic wisdom teaches us to not be swayed by the external storms, but to remain grounded within ourselves. If she's upset, that's her storm to navigate, but it's your responsibility to be a calm harbor. Here's a simple example. Let's say she comes home from work, visibly upset, and you immediately jump in with something like, "It's not a big deal," or "You shouldn't be upset." No, don't do that. When you minimize her feelings, you essentially say her emotions don't matter. What do you think that communicates? It shows that you don't really care about how she feels. This isn't about agreeing with everything she feels, but acknowledging it. You must say, "I understand that this is frustrating for you, and it makes sense that you're upset. I'm here for you if you want to talk about it more." That is the essence of emotional respect. You aren't negating her feelings. You are simply saying, "I get it." You're giving her permission to feel what she feels without shame or guilt. In this way, you don't just become a partner in a relationship, you become a safe space, a sanctuary for her emotions. You create the environment where she feels supported and understood. You must also learn how to show up emotionally in a way that mirrors Stoic wisdom. Emotions are part of life, but how you respond is what defines the strength of your character. You don't have to fix everything, and you don't have to have all the answers. The paths of wisdom laid out by the Stoics show that often the most powerful thing you can do is listen. By just listening and reflecting back, understanding, you not only help her process her emotions, but you also learn about her on a deeper level. What you should avoid doing is assuming that your way of processing emotions should be hers. Stoic philosophy teaches detachment and self-control, but that doesn't mean ignoring the emotions of others. That's a different thing altogether. You must remember that respect for her emotional experience is not the same as giving up your own emotional boundaries. It's about a balance, validating her emotions while also staying grounded in your own truth. So, to sum it all up, respect her emotions. When she's angry or upset, don't brush it aside. Embrace it, acknowledge it. Say the words that show you understand, not just what she's feeling, but why she's feeling it. Be present with her in the moment, and that will bring you closer than any clever solution ever could. This isn't just relationship advice, it's a lesson in practical stoicism, in staying calm in the face of emotional turbulence, and in building a connection that stands the test of time. If you want to create a strong bond, a lasting one, rooted in deep understanding, then remember this: respect her emotions. It's the foundation of trust, and it's a fundamental rule of the Stoic path to wisdom. 6. Avoid judging and giving unnecessary advice. When it comes to understanding and connecting with her, you must remember one of the key principles of Stoicism: emotional control and perspective. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, believed in mastering our reactions to external events. You must refrain from jumping into fix-it mode when she faces challenges. Women, like anyone, often don't need immediate solutions. They need someone who listens, someone who understands. You must be that person. Too often, we, as men, are quick to offer advice, especially when we think we know the answer. But this is a mistake. This impulse comes from a place of wanting to help, but it often makes the other person feel judged or misunderstood. Let me be clear. Don't fall into the trap of trying to solve her problems right away. Don't believe that your advice is the answer to everything. Sometimes silence and a strong, steady presence are far more powerful. Instead of offering a quick fix, reflect on what Epictetus teaches: that we can't control the actions or feelings of others, but we can control how we respond to them. When she talks about a problem, whether it's a disagreement with friends, work stress, or anything else, your response should be one of empathy. Say, "I understand how that must be difficult for you," rather than rushing in with a solution. This shows you value her emotions over the need to solve her situation. It's about creating space for her to express herself. You must listen without the urge to judge, without the need to solve. This is not weakness, it's strength. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies in restraint and understanding, not in fixing everything around us. Let her feel heard. Let her feel supported. You don't have to be the hero in every situation. Your role is to help her navigate her own emotions, to offer emotional support, and give her the space to make her own decisions. When you approach her challenges with this mindset, you create a stronger bond. The connection you build isn't rooted in you providing solutions, but in you being present, supportive, and non-judgmental. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone is quick to offer advice, your ability to hold back and simply listen will set you apart. Modern life, with its complexities and demands, often leaves people feeling unheard. But you, as a man committed to self-mastery, can stand apart by adhering to Stoic wisdom. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listen, be patient, Let her guide you in how she wants to navigate the challenge. Your role is not to steer the ship, but to be a steady hand on the wheel, helping her maintain course. You must lead with empathy, not with advice. Don't impose solutions. Instead, create a safe space where she feels free to think, express, and choose her path. In this approach, you win, not because you fixed her problem, but because you showed strength through restraint, wisdom through understanding, and true connection through empathy. So let go of the urge to jump into problem solving. Choose to be present, choose to listen. That is how you connect on a deeper level. That is the power of Stoicism, knowing when to speak and when to be silent. You must master this skill if you want to build a lasting, meaningful relationship. 7. Share your thoughts openly. Don't hide behind a wall of silence, expecting a relationship to flourish. If you're not sharing, you're not truly connecting. You must remember that open and honest communication is the bedrock of any thriving partnership. It's not just about exchanging pleasantries or checking off items on a to-do list. It's about opening up your heart and mind so she can truly understand you. When you keep your feelings and thoughts bottled up, you're not only distancing yourself from her, you're robbing the relationship of its potential to grow. The old Stoic wisdom teaches us to cultivate an iron mind, one that is strong enough to face vulnerability and embrace authenticity. And it's this very authenticity that fosters the kind of intimacy that is required for a meaningful connection. Stoic principles encourage us to manage our emotions, not suppress them. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or anxious, don't bury those emotions. Share them. Let her in. That is the real test of your emotional strength. It's easy to hide behind a mask of strength or the illusion of invulnerability, but true strength lies in being vulnerable when it matters most. Imagine saying, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with work right now, but I know it will get better." This is not weakness. It's a sign of trust, an invitation for her to see you for who you truly are, flaws and all. Sharing your feelings doesn't make you any less of a man. It makes you a more grounded and real one. By opening up, you set the stage for her to do the same, creating a safe space where mutual understanding can bloom. You must remember, vulnerability is not a sign of fragility, but of courage and emotional maturity. Don't mistake silence for strength. Silence can often be a fortress that keeps both of you locked away, preventing meaningful connection. Be brave enough to let down your guard, embrace the discomfort of vulnerability, share what's on your mind, whether it's an everyday stressor or something more profound. In doing so, you reinforce the kind of relationship built on trust, not walls. The Stoic idea of an iron mind isn't about avoiding feelings. It's about mastering them, understanding them, and then choosing to express them in ways that cultivate respect and deeper bonds. So, be the one to break the silence, be the one to create space for her to share her feelings. The more you open up, the more she will. And that is the beginning of a relationship where both of you can grow, thrive, and truly understand each other. Don't be afraid to show your true self. The old Stoic wisdom doesn't tell us to be emotionless, it teaches us to be in control of our emotions so they don't control us. In sharing your thoughts openly, you are embodying the very essence of emotional strength and mutual respect. Never forget, in a relationship, what you give is often what you get. And when you share your inner world, you're inviting her to do the same. If you're ready to build a deeper, more meaningful connection, it all starts with being open and vulnerable. Don't let silence keep you apart. Share your thoughts and let her understand the real you. Comment below, "I choose openness and vulnerability to strengthen my connection." 8. Ask open-ended questions to discover more about her. If you want to connect on a deeper level, there's one simple tool you must master: open-ended questions. Forget the quick yes or no answers. Those don't lead anywhere. Instead, embrace questions that invite her to open up, to share her heart, her soul, her thoughts and feelings. This is how you begin to understand her inner world. This is how you start to see beyond the surface and into the depth of her mind and heart. Here's the thing, you must do more than just skim the surface. To truly understand someone, especially a woman, you need to dive deeper. Practical Stoicism teaches us that in our relationships, just as in life, we must ask questions that go beyond the obvious. Stoic wisdom isn't just for confronting life's challenges, it's also for understanding the nuances of our most important connections. Remember, the Stoic rules demand clarity, patience, and focus. And this is where your patience will pay off. When you ask the right questions, you're not just getting information, you're opening a gateway into her world. Take, for example, a simple question. You might be inclined to ask, "Are you feeling sad?" But pause. This is where the magic of open-ended questions comes in. Rather than asking a yes or no question, ask, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or, "How are you feeling about everything that's been going on?" These questions invite her to reflect, to think, to open up. The difference? The first question is closed and doesn't allow much room for a deeper response. The second one, however, offers space for her to express herself fully. It's a chance to get a deeper, more authentic insight into her emotions. The old Stoics believed that understanding one's own emotions was crucial for a meaningful life. If we apply that to relationships, then understanding the emotions of others is equally vital. The paths of wisdom they laid down for us point to emotional awareness as the cornerstone of meaningful connections. When you ask her the right questions, you're not just being polite, you're actively engaging in the process of understanding her, her past, her dreams, and her emotions. Don't settle for simple surface level interactions. You must be genuinely interested in what she has to say. Listen closely to her words, her tone, and even her silences. Acknowledge her feelings, even if they seem small or unimportant to you. In that moment, they are everything to her. Practical Stoicism teaches us that wisdom isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge to improve our relationships. Asking the right questions, ones that encourage her to reflect and share, shows that you care. And that's what makes all the difference. That is the power of open-ended questions. They invite depth. They demand more than just a quick reply. They encourage conversation, introspection, and connection. And ultimately, they bring you closer to understanding her, her needs, and her feelings. But don't stop there. In the same way the Stoics advise us to be disciplined in our thoughts and actions, you must be disciplined in your communication. Be aware of how your questions make her feel. Sometimes your questions can be the bridge that leads to deeper intimacy, but at other times they might touch on emotions she's not ready to explore. Be gentle, be kind, listen more than you speak, and always respect her boundaries. In the end, you must understand this. Open-ended questions are a tool, a powerful one, but they are only effective if used with intent and care. So don't just ask because you feel like you should. Ask because you genuinely want to understand her on a deeper level. Use the wisdom of the Stoic rules to guide your approach. Ask, listen, and learn. This is the way to truly connect. By asking questions that invite her to share more, you open the door to real understanding. And that, my friend, is the path to a deeper, more meaningful relationship. 9. Accept the differences between you. In any relationship, the first step toward true connection is understanding that no two people are exactly alike. She's not you, and you are not her. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you begin to master the art of communication. You must stop trying to change her or impose your preferences on her. Instead, you must learn to embrace the differences that make her unique. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This wisdom rings true in relationships as well. Don't try to mold her to your will. Accept who she is, even when it feels challenging. If she enjoys romantic comedies while you're drawn to action films, don't dismiss her interests. Don't criticize her for liking something you don't. You must approach these differences with curiosity and openness. Watch that romantic comedy with her. Share your thoughts afterward. engage in her world. This is where true understanding happens, where you step outside of yourself and genuinely connect with her on a deeper level. You see, embracing her individuality shows respect. It signals that you value her as a person, not just as a reflection of your preferences. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it, said Epictetus, and understanding another human being, especially when they're different from you, is a glorious challenge that brings you closer together. In the modern world, too many relationships fail because people try to force conformity. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, focus on what makes her unique. That's where the strength lies. Winning in a relationship isn't about making her be who you want her to be. It's about learning how to communicate, adapt, and grow together. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we can't. You cannot control her interests, but you can control how you respond to them. The challenge is to accept, appreciate, and find joy in those differences. This is how you communicate to connect, how you become a partner who truly understands and values the other person. Accept the differences between you. Embrace her individuality. This is how you win at communication. You must become a master at understanding her, not by changing her, but by learning to communicate effectively despite the differences. That is how true connection is built. That is how you win. 10. Keep your promises and commitments. Keeping your promises and honoring your commitments isn't just a matter of good manners. It's the foundation of trust in any meaningful relationship. The moment you say, "I'll do this," or "I promise," those words carry weight, especially for her. She's listening not just to your words, but to your actions. If you fail to follow through, you're not just breaking a promise, you're breaking the trust she's placed in you. And let's face it, trust is everything. Without it, a relationship has no foundation to stand on. Now, don't be the person who makes promises that vanish like smoke the second life gets in the way. You must learn to be someone who can be relied upon, no matter how small or large the promise may seem. Remember, Old Stoic wisdom teaches us the value of integrity. Our word is our bond. An iron mind doesn't break under pressure, and neither should your commitments. When you promise her your time, whether it's a small chat or a weekend getaway, follow through. If you say you'll be there, be there. Work, distractions, or unexpected hurdles will always try to pull you away, but you must remember that your promises are more important than the fleeting things that may try to steal your attention. She needs to know that you are someone who respects the time you share, someone who holds true to their word, someone who can be counted on. In this fast-paced world, where people break promises like they're a dime a dozen, being the man who keeps his word will set you apart. Do you think it's easy? Number. But that's what the Stoic principles are all about. Doing the hard things, being disciplined, and holding yourself accountable even when it's inconvenient. The iron mind doesn't waver when things get tough. It finds a way to push through, to honor its commitments no matter what. This doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but when you do, own up to them. Don't try to cover them up or make excuses. That's weak and untrustworthy. Instead, take responsibility and show her that you care enough to be transparent. It's this kind of honesty and reliability that builds the deep, unshakable bond that every relationship needs to thrive. So don't just make promises, be the kind of man who keeps them. Embrace the Stoic mindset of integrity and responsibility. You'll not only earn her trust, but you'll also be building a stronger, more connected relationship that stands the test of time. That's the power of the old Stoic wisdom, being true to your word, with an iron mind that never forgets its commitments. Hey there, thanks for sticking around until the end. Remember, true communication isn't just about speaking, it's about really listening and understanding. It's about respect, sincerity, and showing up consistently for each other. If you want to build a deep, lasting connection, focus on actions that show you care, and always be open to learning about her feelings and needs. It's not always easy, but trust me, The effort you put into truly understanding and respecting each other will pay off in ways you can't imagine. So take this wisdom to heart. Make every conversation count, keep your promises, and most importantly, be present. That's the real key to a meaningful relationship. Until next time, take care and keep striving for a deeper connection.